Good morning and happy hump day, everybody. Whew. Now things are starting to pick up a little bit. Okay, so let's see what my low behind my kindness is. I would say that my low is the fact that I was expecting to have dinner with my folks last night, but that didn't happen. After a day of watching my nephews, my mom just doesn't really want to do anything. So I was on my own for dinner last night. Which means elbow room for me. Elbow room is awesome. I love elbow room. Seriously, I think Libs and elbow room are like the two places that I've talked about the most doing this. Not that I'm complaining, I love both those places, so I have the right to talk. Within reason, of course. But yeah, I didn't really spend that much time with my folks last night, but I spent a little bit of time with them. And my high is, again, with me being on my own, I went to elbow room. It was awesome, as elbow room always is. And I did a lot of acts of kindness yesterday. I took out the garbage for my folks. I emptied the dehumidifier for my old man. I filled the dishwasher. What else did I do? I know I did other stuff. I also helped my mom, because when my mom got back, because I told you once before, like, my mom got, like, a sandbox for my nephews to play in, and she had, like, big bags of sand, and she wanted me to, I say carry, all I really had to do was put them in the wagon for her to pull. So, thank God for me, my ankle, the back of my heel is still killing me at the moment. I'm getting it checked out later this week. I really hope it's nothing serious, because seriously, I just started work. Seriously, can I work out and like not get injured, please? But I have a movie to talk about, and I just realized this will probably be the first time I think I've ever done two movies in a row. I'm seeing Mission Impossible tonight, and I'm gonna see. I just saw the movie I'm about to talk about last night, which was Green Street Hooligans. Now, if you're unfamiliar, hold on, let me get my notes out before, I wrote stuff down. Hold on. I forgot my computer mouse. I got one of them wireless mouses, so I can navigate the internet from way up here. Right. So, I brought this up last night, or not last night, yesterday, and I think it is about time I talked about a movie that probably none of you guys have heard about. In fact, it really only was by happenstance that I personally saw this movie myself. I'll take you back to 2009. I was at Trinity-Pawling. And I was in English class, and I forget why we even were allowed to see a movie at all. I mean, as far as I was concerned, we were still reading Heart of Darkness, I believe, which has nothing to do with the movie I'm about to talk about. Although we did watch, what's that one movie with Martin Sheen? Apocalypse Now? Yeah, we saw that movie. But that's not the movie I saw last night. Like, just at random, out of the blue, like, nothing was going on. So, someone brought in a movie known as Green Street Hooligans. Now, again, if you've never heard of this movie, I wouldn't blame you. Because it kind of came during a time when movies were not as great as, they are now. And in fact, the Rotten Tomatoes score and the critics' consensus kind of reflects that. But the movie is called Green Street Hooligans. I just said Green Street Hooligans, who am I kidding? It starred Elijah Wood, who, this really is the kind of, in a way, this is a coming-of-age story about, finding yourself and, like, proving how, in a lot of cases, how tough you are. whatever life throws at you, which I definitely saw back then. But the movie starts off with Elijah Wood. He's going to college at Harvard, and he takes the fall for a friend of his for having cocaine, even though his friend is clearly a cocaine addict and a dealer, I believe. So he gets expelled from Harvard, and he moves to London, England, where he meets his sister, who is married to a literal Englishman, and they have a son, and he's lived with them for a while, and his brother, he has a friend of his brother-in-law, played by Charlie Hunnam, to a soccer game, or an English football game, if you will. Now, I mentioned yesterday, and if you've ever seen Adam Richman talk about this on Hot Ones, you know this too. Fans of rival soccer teams are not the same are in a different universe than fans of, say, Yankees or the Red Sox, or Packers and the Bears. Like, let's say for the sake of argument that you have a Yankees fan and a Red Sox fan, and they both meet at a bar, and for whatever reason they have to sit next to each other. They'll give each other looks, and they may exchange some words, but nothing really over-escalating. Nothing that would really, warrant some sort of like, you should probably keep an eye on them, or maybe get the police ready. Like, at the end of the day, they'll stand each other, enjoy whatever meal they're having, or enjoy the game that's on TV, stuff like that, and away they go. Yeah, English Premier League soccer is nothing like that. In fact, there are quite literally rows and rows of law enforcement all throughout the stadium, in the aisles between both sides of the fans, because they want to beat the ever-living crap out of each other. And that actually is what you see a lot of in this movie. It's hooliganry. It's nothing but a whole bunch of hooliganry. And sometimes it gets a little too violent, such as the case of Elijah Wood's character's brother-in-law, who accidentally killed the son of the head of this one gang, and obviously he swore revenge, and stuff like that. And in terms of the friend of the brother-in-law, okay, so basically the boss guy does get his revenge in a way where he literally takes, this is how serious he gets. He takes a bottle and jabs him right and crashes it and gets him right in the neck. And he's like, if you die, then we'll be even for my son. That gets pretty violent, dude. And all throughout this movie, you see Elijah Wood grow as a character. And even in his inner monologue, he's saying once you learn that your face is no longer made of glass, many things open up to you. I'm paraphrasing that line, but that's what happens. And it really is sort of an allegory for, and keep in mind, this is just my interpretation of it. I'm sure a lot of people have different interpretations of the movie. But my interpretation of it is, there are things in life that are obstacles that you come across that look scary. Sometimes even impossible. Maybe you're not able to do it. Maybe you even get hurt doing it. That happens. But it really is a classic case of, if you fall down and you're able to get back up, then you know how tough you are. It's the old saying, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And Elijah Wood learns that all throughout the movie. Unfortunately, the ending is kind of bittersweet. Also, the bitter part is because the best friend of the brother-in-law gets the ever-living crap beat out of them by the head boss. In fact, straight up, the guy dies. He is quite literally beaten to death. and like all of the gang members and like all of the hooligans on like both sides are like just staring down. Like, it really is that kind of moment where you step back and you think, wow, for as far as humanity really has come, we still have so very far to go. And it's true. I mean, I can definitely tell you listen, I live in a world where love won, Black Lives Matter, what else? The Me Too movement's a thing. Like, I am forever grateful that I live in a time where stuff like this is happening. I really am. Because it really is giving guys like me who really try and do the right thing, carte blanche to really feel good about what we do. But I tell you what, every so often we see something horrible that reminds us of where we all used to be. Some of these fights in this movie are pretty brutal. Like, really brutal. I mean, the one thing I can definitely say about the movie's ending is it really was satisfying. Remember how I mentioned how Elijah Wood's character took the fall for having cocaine for the one guy? Well, the one guy is like doing cocaine. And basically, long story short, Elijah Wood is holding a tape recorder and he gets an open confession out of him, saying that's his ticket back to Harvard. And what's really cathartic for me is the guy he took the fall for. I mean, it's very clear the guy's a complete scumbag. I mean, you're doing cocaine. How much scummier could you be, right? So, the guy like lunges at Elijah Wood thinking, okay, I'm going to stop you. But remember, Elijah Wood has been through an extended period of time of getting the crap beat out of him and therefore beating the crap out of others. You think he's going to lose a fight to some druggie? No. No way. And what's even better is, all throughout the movie, because these gangs, they have like songs they like to sing, and this song has been engraved in my head ever since I saw the movie. In fact, full disclosure, in a lot of ways, I think of Trinity-Pawling when I think of the song. Because, well, for one thing, I was a Trinity-Pawling when I saw the movie. But more importantly, like, at the end of the day, a gang is a band of brothers. Trinity-Pawling, we are a band of brothers, dude. That's how it is. Plus, I will admit, I do like singing the song every now and again. The song is, I'm sure you probably know, it's called I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. And why not? I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, they reach the sky. Then like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. United! United! Okay, there we go. So, here's the thing regarding, because I mentioned that the movie didn't really get the most favorable reviews, and I think it's got like a 42nd on Rotten Tomatoes. And the critics' consensus was along like, it takes what could have been a really great insight. And I'm paraphrasing the critics' consensus, by the way. It takes insight from what really could be an interesting topic about, hooliganry involving English soccer, and instead comes across as a British version of Fight Club, which is another movie I should consider doing a MoReas on. I'll have to do that later. But let's get to this one for now. And I look at this movie in the same way I look at the Boondock Saints. And I love the Boondock Saints. I mean, it's a movie. It's not really meant to do much outside of entertain you for, I'm looking at my notes here, 109 minutes. And that's what the movie did. It was an entertaining movie. And maybe it's because of the whole Trinity-Pawling thing and, you know, my sort of desire to always want to be, you know, part of a good group of guys, or good group of people, I should say. You know, guys or girls, whatever. My point is, brotherhoods are something that you never take lightly. Like, at all. Like, I don't think I've ever said this, but this is back before I forgave that one really bad person I knew from Trinity-Pawling. Where, and I really do mean this even now too, where after your time with this group of people, whether the people in that during that time of your life were good or bad, at the end of the day, you're never going to forget them. Believe me, by the time I was done at Trinity-Pawling, you know, there were plenty of people who, like, at the beginning of the year, we were cool. By the end of the year, we all couldn't stand each other. But that's how it is sometimes. But, you know, over time, we all forgave each other, and everything's cool now. I mean, at least from what I see, things are cool. I can't speak for everybody else, you know. That's on them. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is a movie you should, like, if you're a fan of, like, soccer as a whole, even though this movie really had nothing to do with soccer, or, like, English Premier League football, I would say check it out. It's fun. If you're a fan of Elijah Wood, obviously I say give it a watch. It's fun then. If you really do think that if you are one of those people that really does like the movie Fight Club and thinks this is another form of Fight Club, you'll like this movie too, because some of the fights really do get pretty brutal. But, yeah, it was great seeing this movie again. It was. And I can definitely tell you, to all my brothers in the room who were watching it with me at Trinity-Pawling, you guys know who you are. And really all my brothers at Trinity-Pawling as a whole, I mean what I said. I'll never forget you guys. That's why I talk about you guys every now and again. I hope y'all like this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble to make this video for all you guys watching Joe today. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, to lend your back, take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.